Alright, we are here at one of HP's launch events where it is about to unveil some of its cool gaming laptops and PCs. And I have with me a very special guest here, Mr. Vickram. He's the Senior Director of HP India. So first of all, take me through some of these devices that you're about to introduce. I have some of them here. They look really cool. So what do you have in store for us today?
We have a massive launch on gaming. So we have multiple products.
Yeah.
There's Omen 16 and Omen 17 that we're launching today, the two laptops. There's also a new Victus 15 that we're launching today.
Okay.
And probably even more exciting, we're launching a range of desktops on Omen as well as Victus. You see one of them here, which is the Omen 45, which is beautiful, the aesthetics, then the cooling, and then the side views and so on. So all of those. And then of course we have the accessories to go along with it. We're also going to talk a bit about the updated software that powers some of the experiences on gaming under the Omen Command Center. So all of that stuff is coming today.
Before I talk about some of the other things about the gaming industry in general, I mean, without going much into the specs, what can you tell us about these machines? I mean, how do you see them being positioned in the market, and what is the target audience here?
This is for gamers, all the way from casual, all the way to enthusiast. Depending upon which one you want to pick. The best tools you can find right now, pushing the boundaries of performance. On one side, you have like this almost bipolar, like this extreme performance, amazing design, slimmer, lighter, all made possible by this glue, which is beneath these two, which is the cooling, and then the engineering, which is the expertise of HP, making possible this like divide, because you would expect something that high performance to be big, but it's like just being able to combine these two. And that's, I think, the most special thing that you will see coming through in the Omen, but even then showing through in the Victus. And especially on the desktop, then on the laptops. And the 17 Omen is a thing to behold, just the power that can drive with the design that it has.
Okay. Now, this of course brings me to a very interesting question, because in the last few years what we have seen is that there is a general shortage in terms of gaming components, because of which the whole industry has also struggled. A lot of gaming enthusiasts are not able to get their hands on gaming devices. So where are we in terms of that? Do we see us meeting the kind of demand that is out there in the market now?
It's a bit tight right now, but I think it's much better than what we had coming into, because you have to understand, coming into the situation that we were 2 years ago, there was a massive upsurge in demand.
Yeah.
And some of these components have a 24, 36 month lead time. There's massive investments to bring in a fab and start bringing up, like components. But I think we're towards the fag end of it. We feel we have adequate supply for what we need to deliver to the Indian customers. Throughout the last 2 years, actually, we have managed to somehow secure components that we needed to keep delivering to the Indian customers. You will see our market share results have stayed strong throughout. Just given as a company, we have very deep relationship with our partners and also a wide spectrum of partners. So one way or the other, we have managed with the help of all bodies in India, like all the way from authorities, bringing in product, delivering it. So we managed somehow, and I think we're coming to a stage where few months more, and there are patches here and there now. On the whole, we're pretty good. Just a few patches here and there, and we should be pretty good.
But any timeline that we are aiming in terms of, where we can say that, okay, fine, after this, maybe we won't have these issues on this, maybe at this regular pace as we are having right now.
Right. Well, I think you need to understand it's a very dynamic space, because there's actually literally tens of thousands of components that go into a PC.
Yeah.
It looks simple, but it's a very, very complicated device.
You can see it right here.
Right. And so it depends upon which one at what point of time. And so there'll always be these ebbs and flows, but they were always there even 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So that natural ebb and flow will continue. But I think we're already at a stage now, give another couple of months, couple of quarters, we should be at a stage on the whole. We're pretty good now. On the whole, we should be fine. But unless something untoward happens, there's a surge in demand or something happens, we should be fine.
No, but with this challenge, where are we in terms of competing with gaming consoles? And I know things are not pretty on that side as well, because there's been a general shortage of consoles as well.
Right.
But especially for the Indian market, have you seen, what sort of interest have you seen for gaming PCs and laptops in the recent times?
Phenomenal interest, actually. I mean, if you look at the numbers for India over the last 6-7 years, I think there's been like 2,000% growth on gaming, PCs and desktops, what have you. In the last couple of years, it's been about 50% CAGR. That's market. Within that, we have doubled year on year. So we have grown a lot higher than market. We are now, I think, as a country in the top few markets in the world, top 3, I think. But we are growing faster, so I feel like we'll get even higher. So while we have grown up a small base, I feel there's still a lot of growth when it comes to the the Indian market.
Okay.
And just to add, I think driven by, just such a young country, and one of the few countries in the world we're getting younger by the day. Literally, it's like amazing how that happens. But because of the youth pushing through, we're actually getting younger. And gaming, music, aesthetics is such passion points with the youth that is going to continue keep on driving as we go forward. Plus, with us driving it, everybody else following the expanded portfolio that we have available right now to offer to more customers.
So, you're obviously able to cater more set of audiences.
Right, the innovations on the affordability rather than buying upfront to that. Then I think just how gaming has become like a lifestyle now. It isn't just about the device. It is actually, as you talked about, it's a console, some phone, the laptop, the aesthetics that go with it, the fashion, the music, it's like this whole lifestyle, right? And then that continues to power it. So I think it will just continue powering itself for quite some time to come.
And that's exactly my next point, because you yourself just mentioned mobile games. Now, there's been a lot of halla around that as well in the last few years, and how mobile gaming
last few decades.
Especially in the last 5 or 6 years since we have had these cheaper data rates in India, and how mobile gaming has sort of exploded. There's a lot of talk about around 5G as well coming here, maybe cloud gaming becoming really popular. So do you see it as just maybe a lot of noise around mobile gaming, or do you think there's a lot of substance to it as well? Yes, mobile gaming is here and it's sort of can compete with your PC gaming or console gaming.
There's a massive install base of mobile phones in this country. I remember having this discussion even like 3 or 4 years back, and I had mentioned at that time this concept of what I thought is PC 2.0. Because I think mobile phone is a great device. It gets customers into the ecosystem. It's a great consumption device. And then, and there'll be some customers who, because the fundamental thing about India and Indians is more. Like we want to do more, get more, achieve more, become more, be more. So automatically some will say, fine, I'm consuming, but why don't I create some content? Why don't I make some music? Why don't I make some designs? Why don't I make some games? I'm gaming, but can't I game deeper? Can't I game more immersive? I want to compete with the best of the best in the world. I want to get into competitions. I want to showcase my ability. So I have always maintained these are companion devices.
Okay.
And I think that's what is kind of playing out. The install base is growing for PCs. Of course, there is mobile phones. And even game developers now have titles on both. Because you would think if that was the case, they would have only on one, right? Yeah. Because they're acknowledging, this generation coming through now doesn't care about compromises. Yeah. They're not like us and the earlier generations where I keep telling everybody, when I was growing up, I had one shoe. From boxing to basketball to class to my friends, just one. And it's not the same now, right?
You're wearing a pretty cool one today.
I am. See, I'm evolving. But it's a tool, and you want a special tool, the best tool for that particular scenario. Yeah. And so, mobile phone, laptop, console, why compromise?
Yeah. So, it's fair to assume that both of them can coexist. It's just that maybe an entry-level gamer might be more satisfied with the mobile game.
Absolutely,
as their aspirations grow, they'll continue to level up. Yeah. So my last question to you is, for the Indian market, now you have this series right here. What are your plans? And by plans, I just don't mean the gaming part of it, but for HP in general. What are the focus points going ahead into this?
I think growth. We really see India now as a massive, massive opportunity. It is one of the focus countries for the company globally. We've grown a lot as a country. And within that, we have grown a lot because we are 1/3 of this country. So 1 in 3 PCs is HP. Okay. Whether commercial, consumer, you put together. We have scale, we have a massive footprint, but we are still underpenetrated. There's a lot of households and consumers that don't have a PC. A lot of households that have maybe only one. And then 63 million SMBs don't have any kind of IT. A lot of big tech companies don't have 1:1 PCs. And these are the days when PCs are essential. And more for consumers, PCs are also personal. And again, back to the insights, right? For a young person, this is entertainment. Nobody really does TV anymore. Nobody does the old music. Your music streams are on your PC. Your Netflix is on the PC. All your feeds are on the PC. Your games are on the PC. You're not going to hand over that PC to somebody else who messes up your gaming scores and then messes up your it's your device. It's personal. So I think we have 4.5 people per household. Just broadly, just magnitudes of growth possible. Plus, we are already underpenetrated. So I think there's a massive scope for PCs in this. Now the question is the timing of it and how it comes and the footprint and the affordability and all those things we'll solve. Okay. And then within that growth, we know we'll get 1 and 3. Our aspiration is to be 1 and 2. But we know we'll get our growth. So we are very excited about the market.
So I know this is my last question, but I'll just hold you back for another 2 minutes. But something just, while you were speaking, it just clicked my mind. And I want to bring you to the innovation part of it. Because what we have seen over the last decade or so, while the PCs have become lighter, they're now thinner, there's not much innovation in terms of design in general. And I mean, this is also relevant right now because with this nothing phone coming in, there's a lot of buzz around that as well. How they are innovating the design when it comes to smartphones. Can we see something like that when it comes to your laptops and PCs, or is there a restriction in terms of how much you can change things on that part?
Look, there is innovation, then there is insight-based innovation, right? I think innovation for the sake of innovation, I think is maybe cool, but it's not effective.
Which is a very good point.
But it's not effective, right? Because I think our job is not to just randomly just innovate.
Yeah.
Our job is to make our customers' life better, to help them be more, do more. So when we see a pain point coming through, like we felt customers wanted to be able to consume like content sometimes, so we made X360, right? And we pioneered that. We pioneered inking on the laptop. We have like clamshells, obviously. We have all-in-ones. We have multitude of form factors, all the way from 2-in-1s, going up all the way to big size curved all-in-ones. And I think as the pain points emerge, if we feel like there is one thing which customers want to do, and the form factor is getting in the way, absolutely. But we don't see that right now.
Okay.
I mean, we see most of the needs getting covered. I think it's more about the applicability of it, and that growth is coming because customers are beginning to realize this is a tool you need in the new world and the modern world to become who you want to become and compete on a global scale. But to answer your question, absolutely. I mean, we're fundamentally an innovation company, but not just for the sake of it. We want to make sure it makes a difference to.
Yeah, that's a valid point because I totally agree with you. I mean, we keep talking about innovation, but yes, those innovations should not be just for the sake of it. There has to be some sort of usability.
Benefit to the customer,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. You were very kind with your time and your answers. It was very nice meeting you.
Same
all
here.
the best with all your plans, all
Absolutely.
these sponsors and future.
Thank you for coming over. Thank you.